What's up, everybody? On today's video, we're going to be looking at the worst places to live in Florida for 2023. We have been doing this series since 2019 and has reached over 1 million people. This is one of the most important videos of the year where we talk about the top 10 worst places to live in the state of Florida. Before we start the new list, I want to go over last year's list, and we're going to show you the year-over-year real estate appreciation in these places so you can understand what's happening in Florida in these poor communities. Overall, the state of Florida had a 15% increase year over year. That means that if a city had a 17% increase, that's only 2% higher than the state average. Looking at our list from previous years, number 1 was Lake Worth at 27%. Number 2, Titusville at 31%. Number 3, at a loss, University of Tampa. Number 4, Fort Myers at 17%. Fort Pierce, number 5 at 25%. North Miami, a 50% increase. That's crazy. Number 7, West Palm Beach at 23%. Number 8, St. Pete, just above average at 17.8%. 19%, Tallahassee, just a little bit above average. Number 9. And number 10 was Ocala at 42%. What this means is that many of these places like Ocala and North Miami have had a huge increase in prices. That is because affordable places that are being gentrified and people are moving in from other states, the prices have to go up in these affordable areas. And this has been a trend that we've noticed every year when I drop my list. The worst places to live in Florida actually have some of the highest price appreciation since people are being forced into bad neighborhoods out of affordability. For 2023, Lake City comes in at number 1. This is the worst place to live in Florida right now. Lake City hasn't had any of the development, growth, infrastructure, or investments in businesses that other parts of Florida have. The people here are kind of living in the deep south. It's one of the northernmost cities in Florida, and it really is detached from the economical flow of the rest of the state. Ironically, it's places like Lake City that are horrible places to live that can have these huge appreciations in prices once regular crap like jobs and investments come in. Or perhaps it's the flow of people escaping other parts of the state that are getting more expensive that's forcing people to compete for these markets that are really unattractive but get expensive because people have no other choice. Number 2 is Perry, Florida. This little town might as well be in Georgia or Alabama. It really is a different speed of life. And if you're looking to move to Florida, you might want to move somewhere a little bit more progressive with more future and opportunity than this quiet little Florida Panhandle, Big Bend region town that really doesn't offer a lot of opportunity unless you're looking to join the streets, son. In which case, this might be what you're looking for. If you move to Perry, Florida, squat that truck, maybe put a little Browning sticker on it as well. Get yourself a good job down there at that wood mill. Find a nice young lady on the outskirts of town whose daddy ain't gonna be too much of a hassle. Yeah, I ain't nothing wrong with Perry, Florida. It's just what you're into, I guess. If you want something just a little bit better than Perry, Florida, you can move on down to number 3, Palatka, Florida. Located right outside of Jacksonville, this town has no future, no plans to have a future. Crap, if you got a subwoofer in the trunk and some 22s, you're all set here. You might want to squat your truck here as well. This place has no options, no future, no opportunities. Get yourself a fast food job or get a job down there at that wood mill. driving that semi-truck down there. I'm sure the neighbors won't complain about a semi-truck right on along. Palatka, Florida has some of the highest crime rates in the state of Florida. You've heard about squatted trucks, and some people call it the Carolina squat. Well, guess what? It was actually invented here in Palatka, and it's known as the Palatka lean. It's the only originated thing in this town. It's nothing to be proud of. Moving on to number 4. Tallahassee, Florida is definitely a place you do not want to end up in. The crime rate in Tallahassee has been increasing, and in the last year, your chances of becoming a victim of a crime are about 1 in 7. That is incredibly dangerous. Crime in Tallahassee is out of control. There's a lot of young people that come here to party, and a lot of these young people, they're not thinking about their future. They're not thinking about getting an education. They're thinking about going to college to party, and a lot of them come with the mentality of the adjacent states like Alabama, Georgia. These people just have a southern mindset, and it really doesn't create an environment that's safe or welcoming. It's just one endless party in the hood. If you move to Tallahassee, even the real estate prices here have been underperforming the state for a while. Number 5 is Jacksonville, Florida. If you've been thinking about being the victim of a crime, you may want to consider moving to Jacksonville, Florida. Real estate prices in Jacksonville have been increasing because people who can't afford to live in South Florida anymore are moving here because they don't have any options and they want to stay within the state of Florida. So all the poor and ghetto people from Miami and Palm Beach and Broward and anywhere in South Florida are moving to Jacksonville. There's been a huge increase in the Hispanic population of Jacksonville over the last few years as people from South Florida that can't afford it anymore are ending up here. Crime is high, corruption in government and real estate is rampant, and many people who are moving here are finding out that it's the hood, though. While Jacksonville beaches are beautiful and real estate prices there are going up tremendously, you definitely want to avoid the city of Jacksonville itself. Moving on to number 6. If you want to live in Alabama but still have a Florida address, you can move to Pensacola. It's the last large city in Florida, right next to Alabama. You might as well let Alabama keep this place. If you live in Florida, this on the ballot. Let Alabama keep Pensacola. They've worked hard for this place. They deserve it. Pensacola pretty much has some really nice beaches, and that's about the only thing this town has going for it. If you go to downtown, instead of seeing people walking, holding hands, and enjoying the vibes, you just see people drive by blasting music. This town has been hit by hurricanes and they haven't been able to recover. They don't care to recover. The only thing they care about is living in the hood, though. Opportunities are hard to come by in Pensacola. Poverty, homelessness, it might as well be part of Alabama. And just like many other places that end up on my list, I suspect appreciation here could be really high in the future. Moving on to number 7, Lake Worth, Florida. Now, the real estate appreciation here has been tremendous. And on top of that, the prices were already far above the state average. So you're paying a lot of money for something that was already expensive. That really sucked. Homelessness is an absolute problem in Lake Worth. Crime is out of control. I really don't understand why people are paying top dollar to live in a place that has this many problems. Lake Worth is the Gary of Indiana. Lake Worth is the North Fort Myers of Southwest Florida. Lake Worth is the Lake Worth of Southeast Florida. I don't understand why people are paying top dollar to be here, but I would give you a warning, it's not worth it. High crime. Moving on to number 8, North Fort Myers, known to the locals as the No-Fo or simply Fo My Dog. Before Hurricane Ian, this community was struggling with homelessness and downright unacceptable unsanitary conditions. This is a place that's a gathering spot for homeless people and lowlives who would rather steal and instead of getting a job or just at the pawn shop, like, come on, dog, I got my stuff together. Don't think cause I'm in here selling something for $5 that I did. No, man, I got a car outside. I mean, I drove a bicycle here, you know what I'm saying, but I got a car, you know what I'm saying. So just because I'm here at the pawn shop trying to sell something, don't mean I'm starving. No, you're starving, and you probably stole that, and you live in Norfolk Mines to be exact. Yeah, if you live in Norfolk Mines, it's a bad place, and it's unfortunate because with this hurricane, it just got a whole lot worse. Moving on to number 9, Hialeah Aseremen. So Hialeah was on a good trajectory. Now, unfortunately, real estate prices here have not increased, and that's a problem because the Miami area real estate has been out of control. Even bad places like Northwest Miami and Palatka have had incredible price appreciation, but Hialeah is actually below the state average right now, and I suspect it's because there's a new wave of people leaving Cuba and they're coming through Central America. By the time they get here, they're picking up a lot of bad criminal activity that they learned in Central America. And while most Cuban and Haitian communities are prospering and moving into better areas, the new wave of Cubans are not even able to get papers like they were in the past, so they're really headed down a bad track. Number 10 is Panama City, not to be confused with Panama City Beach. It's a beautiful travel destination, but Panama City itself hasn't been able to recover from hurricanes in the past. Opportunities here are few, and the prospects for a place that looks this beat up and ugly are few. If they're not dealing with hurricanes, they're dealing with fires. There's always something bad going on in Panama City. There's entire neighborhoods and actually other cities that are right near Panama City that are part of the urban core that are just filled with crime and poverty. It's really not a place you want to end up for any reason. Even the people that work in Panama City Beach will tell you they're not making a lot of money. It's a tourist area, and every dollar that the locals make is usually revolving around tourism, and it's not a high-paying industry. So if you want to live in misery and just be able to go to the beach every once in a while to lament your life, consider Panama City. Right, everybody, so those are the worst places to live in Florida for 2023. And like I've said, these are bad places to live, despite the fact that real estate prices are sometimes growing in these bad areas. It's not because the places are becoming more attractive, it's because every day poor people have less and less options when they're living in the state of Florida. It's really important for you guys to understand that real estate prices going up is nothing good for poor people. If incomes were going up and rent prices and home prices were going up, then it would be great for the regular person. But when you look at the state of Florida, where home appreciation is growing in the poorest places, but opportunities are worse than they were before, it just means that the regular people are dealing with an ever-increasing difficult situation if they're living in poverty. And Florida's not a state that offers a lot of help to the poor like other states. So if you're moving to Florida and you have a limited income, I would really recommend finding somewhere where you can prosper and have more opportunities, because it seems that every year when I make these lists, overall the conditions of these places are improving, but the economy of it just keeps getting worse. In the past, I've noticed that the places that I put on my list have tended to have very good appreciation the year after. That does not correlate for a good situation, especially for people that are renting. It will be very interesting to see if the 10 cities that I put on my list this year are going to have really high appreciation in the coming year. Soon we'll be making a list of the best places to live in Florida, and you'll see the types of things we're looking for are clean suburban areas, not too much traffic congestion, not too far from large cities. It seems like that is what people are looking for when they move to Florida. That's coming soon.